Hello everyone, welcome to Newspresso. I'm your host, Lisa. When the first U.S. military drones buzzed over Venezuela's Paria Peninsula in late February, the world was told that 9 men had been shot down while smuggling drugs. The Trump administration painted them as drug terrorists and cartel leaders. Their families whispered otherwise. They said their men were ordinary people, a fisherman, a bus driver, a former Army cadet, and a local crime boss, all working a new kind of job that paid at least $500 a trip. The government on either side had been tight-lipped about names or details, leaving a huge hole of uncertainty. Enter Regina Garcia Cano, a veteran AP reporter, who had already made a pilgrimage to the coast. After the first strike, she flew into a place that was, as she put it, a mix of natural beauty and stark poverty. Shuttered shops, long lines of vehicles, waiting for fuel, abandoned homes, all framed by the deep blue Caribbean. She was determined to fill that hole. I had no solid names, she says, but I had to return. The challenge was not just geography. It was fear, really. People who knew the dead men were terrified. They were terrified of speaking to any journalist. The Venezuelan regime, led by Nicolas Maduro, has been cracking down since year's election, detaining thousands for hostile tweets. After the drones, the police searched. They could have been arrested or worse. Garcia Cano and Juana Reyes persisted, walking from village to village. Talking with men and women who remembered the dead, they cross-checked memories with media posts and public records to ensure accuracy. But the real truth came from people next door. By the time the AP story hit the wire, the names were no longer anonymous bullet points. The AP story hit the wire, the names were no longer anonymous bullet points. By the time the AP story hit the wire, the names were no longer anonymous bullet points. By the time the AP story hit the wire, the names were no longer anonymous bullet points. By the time the AP story hit the wire, the names were no longer anonymous bullet points. By the time the AP story hit the wire, the names were no longer anonymous bullet points. Families cannot mourn because the government refuses to confirm the deaths, and some fear that a funeral could attract police scrutiny. For those who love the dead, the lack of closure feels like an ambiguous loss. I've lost loved ones in recent years, and mourning rituals helped make sense of loss, Garcia Cano told her editor. These families may never get that chance. The APP stands as a reminder that in conflict zones, the truth is often buried behind political rhetoric. It shows the courage of reporters and locals who risk everything to put faces on anonymous names. The story also highlights the ongoing human toll of a war-like campaign that claims to fight drugs, but leaves ordinary people in the crossfire. As the dust settles on the Paria Peninsula, the world will be watching whether the Venezuelan government finally acknowledges the dead and allows families to grieve. That's all for this episode. Please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any global news.